Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jackson's Math Notebook. This is our second video in a series of videos involving the art of estimation. And when you think of estimation, think of approximating a value, or when you go to the mall, approximating a purchase. And when you approximate a purchase, sometimes you want to, let's say, carry enough money so that you can afford what you're about to buy. And it's always good to round that number so you can have enough money in your pocket so that you may buy what you want. And so let's take a look at the first row of numbers right here, in which we have 43 times 5, 39 times 5, 41 times 5. And so let's start with 43 times 5, which gives us 215. And we know that 43 rounds to 40, and 40 times 5 will give us 200. Noticing that 215 is not very far from 200. And it might be wise to take, let's say, about $220 with you to the mall so you know that you can cover the cost either way it goes. And so let's take a look at 39 times 5, which will give us 195. And 39 can easily round to 40 times 5, which will give us 200. And notice that 39 times 5 giving us 195 is not very far from 40 times 5 giving us 200. And then let's take a look at 41 times 5, and that gives us 205. And then we look at 40 times 5, and that rounds to 200. Notice that when we round down, the cost goes down or the price goes down. And so we have 41 times 5 giving us 205. 40 times 5 again gives us 200. Now let's take a look at our second row of numbers, in which we have first 143 times 6, which will give us 858. 143 rounds to 140. 140 times 6 gives us 840. And let's take a look at 139 times 6, which will give us 834. We know that 139 rounds to 140. 140 times 6 gives us 840. Then we look at 141 times 6, and that gives us 846, while 140 times 6 gives us 840. And notice in both cases here that 834 is not very far from 840, and 846 is not very far from 840 as well. And let's take a look at our last row of numbers, in which we have 243 times 7, which will give us 1,701. And when we round 243 to 240, 240 times 7 will give us 1,680. In many cases, wise parents or wise adults like to round up because they like to have a number that is over the amount that they're going to pay for, because it is a big relief when they actually found out that it's less. And so many wise parents bring more than what they need just in case. And so let's take a look at 239 times 7. And 239 times 7 is equivalent to 1,673. When we round up 240 times 7, we get 1,680. And many adults like to round numbers like that end in, let's say, 0 and 5, because they're just easier to count when you're estimating on the fly. And so let's go to our next number of 241 times 7, and that gives us 1,687. And when we round down to 240, we know this that 240 times 7 will give us 1,680. And there it is. And this is how we round on a daily basis. This is how your parents go about their daily lives: paying bills, going to restaurants, buying gas, and buying school clothes for you. And with that in mind, please comment, share, like, and subscribe to Jackson's Math Notebook for more content. Thank you and goodbye.